So this is Rikard at the World Series of Poker. I'm sitting down with a colleague, Lance Bradley. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, very nice. How long have you been in this business?
I've been in poker since about 2004, 2005, somewhere in there. It's sort of a little bit muddy, but I started with Bodog as their poker manager, and then went to Bluff magazine and was their editor-in-chief for 7-8 years before it closed.
Right. Similar stories to me. I was editor-in-chief for Poker magazine in Sweden, coming from a sports background.
Yep.
Always like playing games, right?
Yep, exactly the same. It's funny how many of us are sort of in similar boats with that sports journalism background and gaming backgrounds kind of helping us find our way.
Yeah, and since this is such a special world in a way for people who are not in here, and they ask you, why did you go this way?
You know, I think I actually remember the night that I said to my wife I wanted to write poker. And it was just because I found the story so rich, and there's just so many different angles you can take on the people that play the game. It's not like covering football or covering baseball or the Olympics or something where you're dealing with professional athletes who, by and large, got there the same way. You're dealing with 7,000 players in a poker tournament where there's a firefighter from New York and an air traffic controller from Russia. So there's just so many diverse stories you can tell, and it's for someone who likes telling stories, it's an endless stream.
Yeah, for sure. And there's so many good stories to be told. And of course some sad stories as well, but those are worth to be listened to as well.
Absolutely. It's not all about the winners, not all the time.
No, of course not. Now, do you play yourself?
I haven't played much in a few years. The state that I live in doesn't have any casinos. And of course, there's no regulated online gaming, so I stay off as much as I can. I love to play, though, when I'm out here in Vegas. I find time to make my way to a table or play some tournaments if I can.
Yeah. It goes same for me. I played 2 tournaments this year just to get the feel. But we're more here for work, right?
Sure.
And have you been to Europe at all?
I have. I've done WSOP Europe and been through a couple of times, so yeah.
So Pocket Fives it is now, right?
Pocket5s.com, yeah.
Yeah, and it's a pretty cool site.
Yeah, I mean, the basis of the site is 2 things, really. One, it's a forum for community for online poker players. But the other thing that I think you want to talk about a lot is the rankings, where we rank the top online poker players in the world.
Yeah. No, I've been very close to Swedish poker for many years, and obviously, if you ever went in there, you've seen that there's always a lot of Swedish flags up there.
There is.
Aren't you a bit? Have you asked yourself how come and so on? Have you studied that a bit?
Yeah, we've looked at it. Obviously, there's some great players in Sweden right now, and they're putting in a lot of volume, which certainly helps. It seems to be that it's either a number one player on our site is either a Swedish player or a Brazilian. They tend to go back and forth fighting for it. So, but the Swedes right now hold 3 of the top 4 spots in our rankings, which is incredible. I think maybe pre-Black Friday, when there would have been a heavy American contingent at the top, we haven't seen one country really dominate like this at the top.
Right, and it's not like it's just now. It's been like that for a while.
It has, yeah. I mean, especially in 2015, when Eisenhower won was basically number 1 for a good chunk of the year. It seems that the Swedes have caught up to and surpassed everybody else right now, and they're playing at a wholly different level.
Yeah, right. Who else is there who keeps coming up there?
Well, number 1 right now is C. Darwin 2, and he's going back and forth with a Brazilian, Yao Samoa. They go back and forth every couple of weeks, trading the number 1 spot. And if you follow the Sunday majors, you'll see those guys putting in a big score every couple of weeks. The one that's sort of swinging the rankings a lot right now is the high roller on Party Poker, the $2,600 buy-in every Sunday. One of those guys seems to come through with a big score every week, so it's messing with the rankings a little bit and giving a guy some edge up, and it's made the race fun.
Yeah. And then we're checking the list right now. I know all these guys, but we have decided. It's an interesting topic, the thing with the anonymity.
Yes.
Because some guys are open and fine and out there with it, and some guys want to keep it. How do you work around that?
We really leave it up to the player, because when they sign up for their account to get ranked, they're giving us access to their information, to their scores on all these sites. And if we out them as their real name, they don't want that and they get upset with us, they can quickly pull that down. And we don't want to lose a member, we don't want to upset a member, and we certainly want as many of the great players as we can on our site. So if they request or say to us, hey, let's keep my real name off it, we're more than happy to. But if other sites are doing it and a quick Google search shows it up, it becomes a little bit of a debate for us as to whether or not we put it there. If the player specifically requests it, though, we're probably going to honor it.
Yeah, usually how I go around, because we usually get to know the players when we meet them live. And
right.
Usually we know if they want to do an interview at all or talk about their online nick. And there's different reasons why they want to be like anonymous. That's a difficult word to say. Anonymous?
Anonymous. You're good.
Yeah, all right. No, but it seems like also there were some tax issues for a few years. I think that's been straightened out a bit more now.
For the most part, yeah. It's some guys just want the anonymity, and it's I can understand that. It's you don't want to be having your name thrown around the internet as being a $1 million winner or a millionaire, and having people hitting you up for a buy in here, a buy in there. So I get it. I get it for sure.
Yeah. And it's also different times, because if we go back like pre-Black Friday, especially when so many players were sponsored, and there were so many sponsorships out there to be had, then they were more.
It was advantageous for them to put their name out, and they really were clamoring to get their real name out as well as their screen name, for sure.
Yeah, it's a different story now. Okay, interesting. What's in the future for Pocket 5? So you're just going to continue to develop your site?
Yeah, I mean, the big push for us right now is content. We want to get more and more content on the site, and not just focused around the online game, but the poker world in general. Like I said, there's just a ton of stories to tell, and we've got a really good audience. We've got a great community, and we want to put those stories in front of them and introduce our site to as many people as we can.
Do you work? Are you mostly a writer, or only a writer?
I do a little bit of everything. My love is writing. I'm really passionate about it. I love telling stories, but there's also a business to run, so I've got my hands in there as well. And it's not the era it was before Black Friday, where you've got a staff of 10 or 15. There's 4 or 5 of us that are pretty passionate and dedicated, and we all sort of chip in what we need to.
Yeah. One thing that is interesting, though, it is like previous years we had so much competition in the poker business, so it was easier to get like advertisement and so on. You must be struggling a bit with that as well. Whoop, sorry, I got it.
Not struggling, I wouldn't say. It's certainly a different environment than say 2004, 2005, or even 2010, pre-Black Friday.
Yeah.
But we've got such good relationships with almost every online poker operator. Even the new ones that come up, they know that Pocket Fives is a reputable site that you want to work with that has players. So it's been a challenge. It's a little different, but it's certainly not, I wouldn't say we're struggling. I don't think that's a fair term.
No, struggling is my wrong word. There's also a lot of money in the casino business these days.
Sure.
I know they're kind of, because it's hard to get content in the casino business, obviously, and in the poker business, quite easy.
Yes.
So, what do you think of the casino business coming in, like putting their money into poker? Is there value for them in there?
I think there is. I mean, we've been approached by a number of operators over the last couple of years with interest in working with us, and there's the one thing that I think you and I will agree with in poker players is there is a little bit of degen to almost all of them, and they want to play some blackjack or want to play some baccarat. So it's certainly a natural audience to market to. It's tough on the content side. It's not like there's no players to cover, there's no personalities to it, so it presents a little bit of a challenge, but we've managed to find some good partners to work with that understand exactly what we can do for them.
Yeah, because the number speaks for themselves. I mean, if you go to the casino sites or the slot sites or so on, they are making a lot of money. Yes. You can see that you turn on your TV and there's a million advertisements. I think it's interesting if they take an interest in poker, because it's kind of related in a way.
Right.
And people like to do it sometimes on their spare time, let's play a little bit.
Yeah, it's, I mean, we saw in 05 and 06 when blackjack tables started popping up on the poker client. So clearly there's some crossover there, and it's just a matter of finding the right group of poker players that want to play those games.
What else? Are you happy with the World Series this year?
Yeah, I mean, I'm here for the entirety of the main event. I was here for 1 week earlier. I happened to be here the week that Jason Mercier decided to win everything.
Yeah.
So that was fun to see. The numbers are up in the main event. I don't think anybody can be upset about that. I don't think
that's pretty cool.
I don't think too many people would have predicted it. If anything, I would have said the same as last year, maybe a little bit less. If you saw, Colossus wasn't as big, the Millionaire Maker wasn't as big, and that was like, okay, there's some alarm bells here that maybe the main event's going to struggle, but it didn't, and they've done a great job. And kudos to the people that run the WSOP for the logistics of this are unbelievable, and they pull it off. And sure, there's hiccups, but there's 7,000 people in one tournament. There's naturally going to be little things here and there, but for the most part, it's been great.
Yeah. Imagine arranging something like this. There's so much money at stake, so many people, different people, and you hardly hear any complaints.
Right.
Honestly, you don't. You see something here and there, but most people are very happy to be here.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, is you get these 7,000 players, and for 5,000 of them, maybe it's a once in a year thing that they do, and they come and they have a good time. And I think the complaints that we've seen over the years are getting less and less, as kudos to Jack Effel and Ty Stewart and Seth Walensky, because they learn from the previous year. Like, hey, what did we get wrong, and how do we correct that next year. They take notes throughout the series, and they're going to make improvements for 2017.
Yeah.
So kudos to those guys for turning this out like this.
I really agree to that as well. I mean, it is the players that are World Series.
Yes.
In a way, so they listen to them, and that's a great thing. Very nice to talk to you. I hope we get the chance to talk again and see the development, and maybe, what do you think, the Swedes going to stay up there?
I don't see any reason why they're not. I know a lot of them skipped out on coming here, and they've been, C. Darwin too remains at the top spot, so I don't see any reason why there's not going to be more Swedes in the top 10 for sure.
Yeah, this guy, Tateus, he was the best Swede a few years back in the main event, so, most of them are pretty good live players as well.
Right.
And we had Eisenhower was dominating for a while, but he's been off for a while now.
Yeah, it seems he had a 16-week run at the end of 2015, and it sort of felt like he was never going to let go of the number one spot.
Yeah.
And then the calendar changed into 2016, and he seems to be playing a little bit less and maybe enjoying some of the fruits of his labor.
Yeah, that might be right. Yeah, we'll see what happens after. The Swedish summer is really short, and we have a long winter. And summer is the time when from May to maybe early September. So then we get the dark ages, the dark months. And then he might come back there,
Sure enough.
All right. Very nice talking to you, and we'll talk soon again.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.